Welcome back, Hoop Addicts, to episode 4 of DJ's Locker Room. On today's episode, Jaylen Brown wins Eastern Conference Finals MVP. The LA Sparks seem to have all the pieces that they need to have a good season. And in Open Gym, I discussed the top 20 free agents in the NBA and where I think they should go. Let's get to it. In the NBA, the Dallas Mavericks won Game 3 of the Western Conference Finals. Final score 116-107. For the Mavericks, Luka Doncic had 33 points, 7 rebounds, 5 assists, and 5 steals. Kyrie Irving had 33 points and 4 assists. And PJ Washington had 16 points and 8 rebounds. For Minnesota, Anthony Edwards had 26 points, 9 rebounds, and 9 assists. Karl Anthony Towns had 14 points and 11 rebounds, shooting 0 for 8 from three-point range. And 6 players from the Timberwolves were in double-digit scoring. The same matchups happened in Game 3, a high screener role with Rudy Gobert, leaving him on an island to guard one-on-one, which we've all seen has been catastrophic for the Timberwolves, but they refuse to make any changes defensively regarding that matter. History says it's over for the Timberwolves. No team has ever come back from a 3-0 deficit in the playoffs and has won the series. I think the Timberwolves have dug themselves into a pretty deep hole that they can't come out of. They still have the opportunity to compete. You have to win 4 games. The Mavericks are only at 3, so Game 5, you can play as hard as you want. You can win that one. Game 6, you can do the same, but the odds are against you. History has basically told you there's no coming back from this. It's going to be the Mavericks and the Celtics in the NBA Finals. I would like for Karl Anthony Towns to be more aggressive in the paint and actually use his strength and his body. He has good post moves. I'm not seeing any dog mentality from the bigs on the Timberwolves. They just seem like they're out there because their team is out there and they have to be, not because they really want to. Now, I hate taking things to extremes, but I wouldn't be mad if the Timberwolves decided to part ways with both Karl Anthony Towns and Rudy Gobert after this performance. Yes, they showed up in the regular season, but let's be real, no one cares about that. Great players are made in the playoffs. Moments are made in the playoffs. Careers are made in the playoffs. You're not really helping your team out there. You're kind of just being a body and causing confusion. Rudy Gobert is kind of stuck in the paint, so Anthony Edwards is limited to whenever he wants to take his man to the bucket. There's definitely some decisions that have to be made this offseason for the Timberwolves. Over in the Eastern Conference, the Boston Celtics sweep the Indiana Pacers in 4 games, 105-102. Jaylen Brown had 29 points, 6 rebounds, 3 steals. Jason Tatum had 26 points, 13 rebounds, and 8 assists. Derek White had 16 points, 5 steals, and 3 blocks. Drew Holiday had 17 points and 9 rebounds. For the Pacers, Andrew Nembhard had 24 points, 10 assists, and 6 rebounds. Pascal Siakam had 19 points and 10 rebounds. And TJ McConnell had 15 points, 5 rebounds, and 4 assists. Once again, the Indiana Pacers were without their best player, Tyrese Halliburton. That hamstring is really messing with him, and he was not able to go, and the series is over for them. But I guess in somewhat a surprising way, Jaylen Brown won the Eastern Conference Finals MVP. Some say the award should have went to Jason Tatum. Statistically, he had more assists, he had more rebounds, he had more points. But the aggression that Jaylen Brown played with when it seemed Jason Tatum wasn't getting it done, you could say he definitely played a big role and helped out. And I believe this award could have went to anybody on the Celtics. I think the Celtics played a great team series. Drew Holiday had great moments that resulted in wins, clutch steals, clutch blocks. Derek White, monster defensively, hit some big shots, hit big threes. Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown are going to do their thing. Al Horford also stepped up in the absence of Kristaps Porzingis. So there was no surprise that the Boston Celtics won this series 4-0. Back in the Western Conference Finals, Game 4. And the Timberwolves came out on top, 105-100. Anthony Edwards had 29 points, 10 rebounds, 9 assists. Mike Conley had 14 points, 4 steals, and 7 assists. Karl Anthony Towns had 25 points. And Rudy Gobert had 14 points and 10 rebounds. For the Dallas Mavericks, Luka Doncic had 28 points, 10 assists, and 15 rebounds. Kyrie Irving had 16 points, only shooting 1 for 6 from three-point range. Daniel Gafford had 12 points and 8 rebounds. Ultimately, turnovers at the very end of the game cost the Dallas Mavericks this win. Luka had one. I think Kyrie threw the ball away. It was just very untimely. You hate to see it, but props to the Timberwolves for not going away quietly. You can tell they definitely didn't want to sweep, and they wanted a Game 5 back in Minnesota. It could be a good one. I'm not saying they're going to win the series by any means. Like I said earlier, history says you're not going to do it. I'm not opposed to tiring out the Dallas Mavericks before they meet the Celtics in the finals. The Timberwolves did capitalize, scoring 30 points off turnovers to the 15 for the Dallas Mavericks. Karl Anthony Towns looked more involved this game. He looked more engaged and was in tune to his actual game. He didn't just rely on three-point shooting. Yes, I think he hit 4 of them, but it wasn't like he was just standing out there, being immobile. He got in the paint, he battled, and it ended up in a win. I still didn't see any changes defensively in terms of putting Rudy Gobert in a high screener role and having him be on an island. I think the Timberwolves got lucky, and Luka Doncic and Kyrie Irving just missed shots. You cannot rely for that to happen in Game 5. It's also important to mention the Dallas Mavericks didn't have Derek Lively Jr. on the court. Daniel Gafford was left alone catching those lobs, battling in the paint. After this game, you do realize how important Derek Lively is to this team. Will the Timberwolves bring it out and extend this game to 6? We'll find out. In the W, the Lynx defeated the Dream 92-79. For the Lynx, Kayla McBride had 31 points, shooting 10 for 12 from field goal range, 6 for 7 from three-point land. Nafisa Collier had 20 points. 8 rebounds, and 7 assists. And Alana Smith had 17 points, 5 assists, 4 rebounds, and 2 steals. For the Atlanta Dream, Ryan Howard had 23 points, 5 rebounds, 5 assists, and 6 steals. Tina Charles had 14 points and 4 rebounds. And Cheyenne Parker-Tyus had 10 points and 8 rebounds. I think the Minnesota Lynx Big Three was way too much for the Atlanta Dream to handle. The Dream are still searching for a point guard to fit their system. Haley Jones is definitely a great facilitator. She's great at managing the game and playing at whatever pace the team wants to play at. I think her biggest struggle is scoring the basketball, kind of figuring out when it's the right time to pass and when it's the right time to go look for your shot, which can be difficult when you've got superstars on your team. I understand it completely. The Dallas Wings got away with a close one against the LA Sparks, 84-83. Arike Gubawale had 20 points, shooting 7 for 30 from field, 0 for 8 from three-point land. Monique Billings had 18 points, 12 rebounds, and 4 assists. And Maddie Segrist had 15 points and 8 rebounds. For the LA Sparks, Cameron Brink led the way with 21 points, shooting 3 for 6 from three-pointers, and she had 3 blocks. De'Erica Hanby had 19 points, 13 rebounds, and 4 assists. And Lexi Brown had 12 points and 6 assists. The Dallas Wings seem to go on these droughts where they can't score for long periods of time. I've mentioned before that it's kind of Arike Gubawale that's only scoring on this team. As you see, she took 30 shots. She's got the green light to do whatever she wants. She's desperately in need of some help, and Satu Sabli is going to return, and she's going to give her that push, that cushion to propel this team forward. But right now, it's really just her. The problem with the Sparks is that there's really not enough minutes to go around for everyone that they have on their team. They have such a talented squad. You can only play so many people in so many minutes. Zia Cook is on the bench. Rakia Jackson, a rookie, she's on the bench looking for minutes. It's hard when you want to get certain players into the game, also knowing that you have to give your starters the time to catch a rhythm and get hot because they are your starters. These are your best players. Just thank God that this is not my issue and not my problem to deal with every day. The Connecticut Sun completely demolished the Phoenix Mercury, 70-47. DeWanna Bonner had 19 points. Alyssa Thomas had 10 points, 8 assists, and 6 rebounds. And Brianna Jones had 16 points, 3 steals, and 2 blocks. For the Mercury, there were 0 players in double-digit scoring. They shot a whole 1 for 27 from three-pointers. This is the worst shooting performance I've ever seen in the W, and I've been watching for a very long time. This game is basically summed up by the poor shooting from the Mercury, and they just couldn't make anything this game. But the Sun improved to 6-0. They're the only undefeated team left and the best team in the league, record-wise. The LA Sparks went to Indiana and beat the Fever 88-82. For the Sparks, Erica Hamby had 17 points, 10 rebounds, 5 assists, and 2 steals. Kia Nurse had 22 points, shooting 5 for 6 from three-pointers. And Ari McDonald had 21 points, shooting 3 for 5 from three-pointers. For the Fever, Caitlin Clark dropped a career-high 30 points, 6 assists, 5 rebounds, 3 steals, and 3 blocks. She filled up the stat sheet. Aaliyah Boston had 17 points, 6 rebounds, and Kelsey Mitchell had 15 points. It's deflating to see how close the Fever have come to finishing out games. Let's take a look here. They lost to the Sun by 4 this season. They lost to the Storm by 2, and they lost to the Sparks twice by 5, and this game by 6. You turn those games around, they've got themselves a winning record, or at least something to be proud of. It's not the end of the world for the Fever. As we've mentioned, they've got a very young team. They're growing together. They're still being competitive. They just have literally 2 to 3 possessions away from pulling out these wins. And I think they've got plenty of time to fix that and do it come after the All-Star break. But the Fever have a tough schedule in these next couple games. They have the Sky, the Liberty, the Mystics, the Sun, and the Dream. I think they could win 3 out of the 5. Now, the Sparks have a lot tougher schedule coming up as they play the Mercury, the Lynx, Wings, Ace, and the Storm. I'm not sure if they can come out of this one alive. They may get 1 win against the Storm. Possibly. And there's a lot of determining factors on that one. You got Skylar Diggins, who's playing great. Ezi Magbagor, who's getting pretty much every rebound that's being put in front of her. Good luck to the LA Sparks. The Seattle Storm beat the Chicago Sky 77-68. Skylar Diggins-Smith had 21 points, 3 assists, and 3 steals. Jewel Lloyd had 19 points, 6 assists, and 3 steals. Ezi Magbagor had 13 points, 12 rebounds, 5 blocks, and 3 steals. For the Sky, Evans had 13 points, 4 rebounds. Elizabeth Williams had 12 points, 8 rebounds. And Angel Reese had 11 points, 12 rebounds, and 2 steals. I mentioned during the last game that Skylar Diggins had that it was very efficient play. It was good to see her actually run the team and play with confidence. I thought that game was going to propel her for the rest of the season, and she's kept it going. She's playing very well. She played well this game, 21 points, 3 assists, 3 steals. I also believe Ezi Magbagor is becoming their consistent inside defender. Every game, it seems like she's getting a block or 2. She's killing the rebounds. She's being their consistent big that every team needs. The Chicago Sky are also looking for a few pieces to fall in place. They need consistent guard play. They're also waiting for the return of their top pick, Camila Cardozo. Her and Angel Reese together are going to be something real scary to see. Good luck scoring against them. Good luck getting a rebound on them. We've seen what they've done against each other, but when that time comes for them to play with each other, oh my gosh. I think, getting the consistent guard play and the return of Camila Cardoso is only going to push this team forward. They'll be fine. That's all for the updates to the WNBA. Now it's time for Open Gym. Today's conversation, we're going to talk about the top 20 free agents in the NBA, where I think they should go. Now, I got this list from ESPN, so let's just take a deep dive into it. Now, there's a couple definitions that I need you to learn while I'm discussing, this topic. First is what an unrestricted free agent is. Unrestricted free agents have the freedom to sign with any team without restrictions. An example of this is if LeBron James is an unrestricted free agent, he can go wherever he wants, and the team can't say anything about it. A restricted free agent is the team you're currently on can match any offer from other teams. So, if LeBron James is a restricted free agent, that means if he wants to go to the Boston Celtics, the Lakers can match that same offer, and now he has a decision to make. There's something also called player options. Now, a player option is when the player has the power to decide if he or she wants to stay with the team or become an unrestricted free agent. So when you see players say, this is the 4th year of my contract and I have a player option, that means I get to decide if I want to stay with this team or if I want to go into the open market and see what my value's worth. Now, the team option is when the team has the power. So regardless of how great you play, the team can say, we don't want to sign you back, and we're going to put you in the free agency market. And you have no control over that. So very rarely do you see a team option. You might see team options on rookie deals, but I think most players are definitely going to negotiate that player option and that unrestricted free agency on their contracts. Now that you understand those definitions, let's go. The top free agent this offseason is LeBron James, of course. Now he has a player option. So like I said, that means he gets to pick if he wants to go into the free agent market or if he wants to stay with the team. I think LeBron's staying with the Lakers. I think he's going to stay with the Lakers only if they draft Bronny James. If the Lakers organization says they can't commit to drafting Bronny, I think we'll find LeBron James in free agency. I also don't think he wants to move his family again. He's got kids. Everything is built in LA. And he's only got, maybe 3-4 years left. We would love to see him ride it out. I don't think he wants to start over with a new team and a new organization, new owners, all that stuff. He's already dealing with finding a new coach and trying to get new pieces around him. So I think LeBron James is going to stay with the Lakers. Number 2 is Paul George. He's also on a player option. I think Paul George could fit pretty much anywhere in the league. He plays defense. He shoots the 3. He can score. He can go get his own. He can also play off the ball. I would like to see him with the 76ers. I do think you need a third star in order to compete in the East. Even though it's not as strong, you couldn't get past the Knicks, and they had Jalen Brunson. That's pretty much it. So what made you think you were going to get past the Bucks, the Celtics, the Miami Heat whenever they get healthy? There's too many tough teams out there. I think the 76ers need help, and Paul George is that perfect piece. Number 3 on this list was Tyrese Maxey. Now, he's a restricted free agent, which means the team can match any offer that other teams are giving Tyrese Maxey. I think he's going to stay with the 76ers. He had a great season, made the All-NBA team. He's going to get paid. Coming back with a healthy Joel Embiid and possibly getting Paul George, like I mentioned earlier, why not run it back? Why not try again? Number 4 is Immanuel Quickley. He's a restricted free agent for the Toronto Raptors. I think he's found a solid destination in Toronto. He was traded from the Knicks to the Raptors. I do think they have a young core. They've got a young team. They're not necessarily contenders yet, but they do play hard, and they seem like a fun group to be around. So why not leave and just take the job security, kind of? He's not going to be an all-star. He's not going to be the number 1 option on any team, at least not right now, not yet. He's still, 25 years old, so he's super young. I just say stay in Toronto, play it out, get the money. If other teams want to make trades for you because you're playing so well, then let that happen. They'll come get you. They'll find you. Number 5 on this list, James Harden, unrestricted free agent, which means he can go anywhere he wants, and there's nothing that the Clippers can do about it. But I believe he's going to stay. I think he's chasing stats at this point in his career. He's got to understand that it takes a team to win a championship. You don't necessarily play team basketball. He wanted to go back to Houston just to average 30 points. So that clearly says that he's chasing stats. Get those stats, make sure your career is in a good position to make the Hall of Fame, and then retire. I think that's all that James Harden's going to get. His window for playoff success and championship success has come to a close. You tried it with Westbrook in Houston. You tried it when you were in Houston with Chris Paul. You tried it when you went to Brooklyn with Kevin Durant and Kyrie Irving. Nothing seems to have worked for you. I think you're just one of those greats that are not going to win a ring, and that's fine. There's plenty of guys that have in that list that are in Hall of Fames, all-time greats. You'll just be added to that tally. Number 6 is DeAnthony Melton. I know a lot of people probably have no clue who this guy is, but let me tell you, he's a proven winner. I think he should go to the Orlando Magic. Paolo Banchero needs help out there. They've got a young squad. They took the Cavaliers to Game 7. I believe the Orlando Magic need a great shooter, and he's shot about 37% for his career. Why not go help him out? Number 7 is Pascal Siakam, unrestricted free agent. This is a tough one. I don't think he's going to win another championship in his career. I don't see that happening. You could say that he got lucky when he was in Toronto because Kevin Durant and Klay Thompson were both hurt in the same series, leaving Steph and Draymond, so really just Steph Curry. If he doesn't stay in Indiana, he should just look for the biggest contract that's going to give him the most money. I could also see him going to Charlotte for some odd reason and just having the green light with him and LaMelo Ball. It'd probably be a run and gun type thing. Yeah, I don't think there's really a market for Pascal Siakams. I don't think anyone is saying, oh, we want a player like that. So just stay in Indiana and get the contract and just keep doing what you've been doing. Help the team, be available. Yeah, go get 25 a game. Number 8 is OG Anunoby. Played for the Knicks. Got hurt. He was playing heavy minutes too, part of that Tibbs cycle. I personally don't want to see him in New York anymore. I just don't want him playing for Tom Thibodeau. I think he should go to Miami. He seems to fit that Heat culture. They play hard. They play the right way. They play team ball. But I think OG Anunoby could fit anywhere as long as they're a contender. He had success with the Knicks, but his best success was when Jalen Brunson was out and it was just him. And he dropped 30. So I think he should go to Miami. Number 9 is DeMar DeRozan, unrestricted free agent. DeMar DeRozan's a proven winner. He was up in Toronto for, I want to say, over 10 years. Couldn't get past LeBron when he was with the Cavs. And sadly, his time in Chicago has been nothing to write home about. I think him and Zach LaVine don't necessarily mesh together. So I would love to see him go to Sacramento Kings, someone who needs an extra vet that can still produce. They have Harrison Barnes there. I just don't think Harrison Barnes is consistent enough for them to move forward as an organization. So DeMar DeRozan, make your way to Sacramento. Number 10 is Malik Monk. Malik Monk, I believe, should have won Sixth Man of the Year this year. He's a consistent scorer. Given the minutes, he can definitely put the ball in the bucket at all 3 levels. He's very athletic and plays great defense. I think the Pacers go after this guy. Tyrese Halliburton is your best player. He's your number 1 option. However, I do think he looks to pass more than he looks to score. So if you're going to look to pass, give it to Malik Monk. He's definitely a certified bucket. I think he can help this team. Number 11 is Nick Claxton. Center from the Nets. I think he should make his way to Golden State. They drafted James Wiseman a couple years ago in hopes that he would be a solid big. I think the solid big that they wanted him to turn into was something like Nick Claxton. He's not looking for 20 points a game, but he can get that off the glass. He can get that off lobs. He's an athletic big. The team's only going to get younger. It has to get younger, I think, if they want to take that next step. And he's already proven himself to be a force in this league, especially at the center position. All he has to do is just get healthy. So I think the Golden State Warriors need to find out how to go get Nick Claxton. Number 12 is Tobias Harris. I think Tobias Harris does the same thing every day. He's definitely one of those boring players. You look up, he's got 18, a couple rebounds, maybe a steal or 2. Nothing spectacular. He's not going to get you 30. I think the Bucks can go get him. Chris Middleton seems to be unhappy in Milwaukee. I don't think he's been the same since his injuries either. I think Milwaukee also needs to break up that core of Giannis and Chris Middleton. They drafted them both together in the same class. I think that has run its course. You got Dame Lillard, who, whichever way you want to put it, is your number 1 option or your number 2. You need a consistent 3. That could be Bobby Portis right now, or it could be Tobias Harris. Whichever your pick, I mean, it's still a number 3 option. Doesn't make too much of a difference. Tobias Harris gets easy shots, plays good defense, can go get you some rebounds. Doesn't cause too much commotion. He's not very demanding. So I think that's a safe pick for the Bucks to get a consistent guy who's also conditioned to play long series in the playoffs. Number 13 is Gary Trent Jr., an unrestricted free agent. I think the Lakers go after this guy. Gary Trent Jr. is a high-volume scorer. He's pulling it. He's like a Michael Porter, but shorter. Anytime you get him, anytime he gets the ball, he's looking to score that thing. The Lakers don't have that. They tried it with D'Angelo Russell. LeBron James is a pass-first, whatever you want to call him, basketball player. I mean, he plays all the positions at this point. But Anthony Davis is going to need some help. And when LeBron James retires, who's going to be left? Just Anthony Davis? We've seen that story. We saw that when he was in New Orleans. Anthony Davis couldn't get past baby Steph. So he's going to need some help. I think Gary Trent Jr. is a scorer. And when the time's needed, I think he could play better defense than D'Angelo Russell, who I also believe they need to get away from. So Gary Trent Jr., make your way to L.A. The Lakers, not the Clippers. Number 14 on this list is Gary Payton II. He has a player option. I say he stay in Golden State. I think it's a familiar face around the organization. He seems to be very comfortable. I believe they traded him to the Trailblazers and then went to go get him back because they loved everything that he brought. Is he a 20 points a game guy? No, I wouldn't even say he's a 15 points per game guy. He's a solid bench player. Whenever you need to give Steph some rest or Klay Thompson some rest, put him in. He's not going to lose the game for you. He won't win the game for you. He just does his job. 15 is D'Angelo Russell. As I mentioned earlier, I think the Lakers need to get away from him. I don't think his style of play is conducive to wins. Similar to a James Harden. Great player. Well, good player. Sketchy scorer. Very streaky shooter. If I'm D'Angelo Russell, you can sign with the Lakers and just take the money, but there's no guarantee that that's going to push your career forward for when the next contract comes into play. I think you should find your way to the Washington Wizards with Jordan Poole and Kyle Kuzma. The expectation to win is low. The expectation for success is extremely low. You get the green light to do whatever you want. Jordan Poole tried having the green light. He's proven he's not the guy. Kyle Kuzma has stated, why would I want to leave when I'm the guy here? I get we're not winning, but I can do whatever I want. I think you can come in and trump all that. Then maybe you can get back on a championship contender team once you've proven how consistent you can be on a team that's not going anywhere. Number 16, Miles Bridges, unrestricted free agent. Miles Bridges has had some mishaps lately, domestic violence charges. He's back in the league now. I think he's on the straight and narrow. I would like to see him go to the Knicks. Now, normally I wouldn't advocate for anyone playing for Tom Thibodeau, but I think with his style of play, his electric jumping ability, and the defense that he plays, I think it would be a match in New York. He's kind of like a more skilled Obi Toppin. Fast breaks, you know something's crazy is going to happen, but he can also operate in the half court. He's not demanding. He can still let Jalen Brunson do his thing. I also believe that if he plays well enough, the Knicks now have a decision to make of what they're going to do with Julius Randle. Is he needed? Can you trade him and get some more pieces? Can you trade him and get draft picks? I think all that comes down if they find a replacement for him first. I think Miles Bridges could be that guy. Number 17 is Buddy Hield, unrestricted free agent. Buddy Hield's a three-point shooter. That's kind of all he's good for. Not much of a defender. Not a isolation, ball-dominant guy. Come off the screens, hit a couple threes, and go sit down. I think the Memphis Grizzlies could definitely use that. Ja Morant's coming back, so that's going to be an uplift for their team. They're going to be healthy again. I think this year was definitely a wash once he went down. They kind of just sat everybody and said, whatever. Now it's the time to get serious for the Grizzlies. Get back in that championship contender mentality. put yourself back in the conversation with the greats, and you're going to need some three-point shooting. I believe Buddy Hield should go to the Memphis Grizzlies and shoot a lot of threes for them. Number 18 is Tyus Jones. He's an unrestricted free agent from the Washington Wizards. I think he should find out how to get to the Phoenix Suns. They need a point guard, a true point guard. Brad Beal's not a point guard. He can facilitate. We saw it when he was in Washington, but this is not the same team. We don't really know what Brad's role is right now with the Phoenix Suns. Bring Tyus Jones in. Even if you have him come off the bench, I think he'll somehow find his way into the starting lineup. He's not a demanding scorer, so you're not going to have to find out where shots are coming from him. I think he's a willing passer. He'll definitely get the ball to Devin Booker, Brad Beal, and Kevin Durant when they need it. So Tyus Jones, Phoenix Suns. 19 is Isaiah Hartenstein, unrestricted free agent. I think he's staying in New York. I don't think there's any competition for his spot right now. And he had really good production during the playoffs, especially guarding Embiid. He was physical. He played till the whistle blew. It was great to see. I think he fits in with that culture of just playing hard and giving all you got for every game. The last player on this list is Markelle Fultz. He's definitely had some ups and downs in his career, being the number one pick in his draft. I say go to Brooklyn. They've got Ben Simmons over there at point guard, but he's got to be the biggest question mark in the league. No one knows what he's going to do. No one knows if he's even going to be available from a night-to-night basis. They've got enough pieces to where you can still function as a team and not necessarily say, oh, I'm working with nothing. They've got Mikal Bridges. They've got Nick Claxton still right now. They have Cam Johnson. So they've got scorers and guys that you can get the ball to. You can also have the opportunity to prove that you can score the ball and play better defense than what we've seen. So I think Markelle Fultz should definitely find his way to Brooklyn and in the Nets uniform. Well, that concludes Open Gym. Thanks for watching and listening to DJ's Locker Room, a basketball podcast. Like, subscribe, and share the channel to all the basketball addicts out there. And remember, it's a great day to have a great day. Peace.